Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakah, Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. This is another video coming back at you again with the truth, alright? With the flavor of the week, that being Grandmaster J, because he pulled a dummy move by going up to, before the KKK, being him being a militia, that now they're trying, because he made mention of the us being in slavery for X amount of time. Basically, they've tied him to being a Hebrew Israelite, where the only way he's a Hebrew Israelite is by seed. He's a so-called black man, and there's even a chance he could not be. But going off the looks, yeah, that's what he looks like. But then if he really was of the faith, he wouldn't be pulling that move, all right? And I'm going to get into it through these scriptures, to compound upon the point that we ain't meant to be carnal. That's so far removed from what we are that, there's no way this guy can be in the faith, all right? If anything, he's an agent provocateur, or if he ain't that, he's an agent for Satan anyway, all right? So this is 2 Corinthians 10:3. I'm going to read down to verse 5, all right? So it reads, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahushai." All right. So the first point I'm gonna read through again and bring out some points as I go through it. So it says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh." All right. Now, what you gotta understand, we walk in the flesh because we're in this carnal world. But where do we come from? We come from the spiritual realm, all right? Because inside of every man is a spirit, all right? These fleshly bodies are vehicles ultimately for the spirit, which we are truly in tune with, all right? Why do we know that? Because we've been born again. As Yahushua was breaking down to Nicodemus in John the 3rd chapter, and one of the points that he said, "That which is born of the flesh is flesh. That which is born of the spirit is spirit." After speaking upon being born again of spirit, of water and spirit, which basically is talking about the word, because we understand it also says in John 6:63, "It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, those are spirit and those are flesh." All right. So basically, the word of the Lord is basically what quickens us. All right, allows us to remain in the spirit, as opposed to being, even though we walk in the flesh, we remain in the spirit, because that's where our strength is in. All right, there's no strength in the flesh. Okay. Because we've been baptized into into the ministry of the second Adam, which is of the spirit, and the first, rather than the first Adam being of the flesh. All right, so it goes on to say now, it says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds." All right. So it goes on how to say we're pulling down strongholds. It says, "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh." And that's an insight into how those imaginations are being cast down, because they're being cast down because they do what? They attempt to exalt themselves against the knowledge of Yahweh. So that means that by the actions and the words that I said, it's an attempt to make the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai come to naught. But ultimately, it doesn't come to naught. And there's a reason. Because the Lord told us in Ephesians 6:12, that basically, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and evil in higher places. Okay, loosely paraphrasing. Which basically means that what we're actually wrestling against isn't a thing of the flesh, it's the spirit. All right. But ultimately, our power within the spirit is through the word. Okay, is totally spiritual, whereas the power of evil, even though there's an evil spirit, it really is manifest in its greatest potency, in its greatest strength in the flesh. All right, okay, and we're basically gonna, I'm gonna show you a point to show you how that is so. Okay, so now this is John. An example, should I say, 18. I'm gonna read from verse 3 down to 11. Okay, so it reads, Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, cometh thither with lanterns and torches and weapons. All right. Yahushua, therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, Whom seek ye? Right? They answered him, Yahushua of Nazareth. Okay? Yahushua saith unto them, I am he. Okay? Which and then reads on to say, and Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with them. As soon as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. All right? Because the Lord had what? Spiritual power. Okay? Whereas these people, the evil on the left hand side has what? Has physical power. Okay? Whereas we have spiritual power. It was by the words of his mouth, which funny enough was I am he. All right? Which I believe it would be Anya, quite possibly just Anya, yeah, something to that effect. But basically, he just said, I am he, all right? Which also, let's remember the name of the Most High, what is it? I am, all right? That's how he denoted himself. But then he told, in order for us to call upon him, we have to say he to be, all right? Referring to him in the second person, in the second, third person, whichever it is. But basically, it goes on saying Judas also, which betrayed him, so they fell back. All right, showing you that what power he had, he showed it to them through force of the Spirit. Okay, they fell to the ground when he spoke unto them. All right, then asked he them again, Whom seek ye? And they said, Yahushua of Nazareth, after they dust himself off and got up again. Yahushua answered, I have told you that I am he. All right. He said, so he's reaffirming the point, and he's letting them know, look, I told you who I was, and you saw what happened, right? If therefore you seek me, let these go their way, all right? So he said, if you want me, take me, but let these rest go their way, that the saying might be fulfilled which she spake of them, which thou gavest me, I have lost none, all right? Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and smote the high priest's servant and cut off his ear. The servant's name was Malchus. All right. And this is what and then it says, then said Yahushua unto Peter, put up thy sword into the sheath. All right. And then even when you read the other gospels, it basically says, he that liveth by the sword. That's how they've rearranged it. But it's more to the effect of, for all they that take up the sword shall perish with the sword, okay? Which basically is, if you live by the sword, you're going to die with a sword in your hand, basically, all right? And that was outlined by Gamaliel in Acts the 5th chapter. All the men that took up the sword and fought in the spirit and power of carnality, not in the spirit and power of the spirit, all right? They died, basically. They didn't have they didn't go, because they were going against the word of Yahweh Hashem Hoshai. He established those rulers upon the earth. So they were going against the Most High power, okay, for their own glory. But reading on, it said, it says, the cup which my Father hath given me, shall I not drink it, all right? Because it was the Spirit to do so. But this is the point, all right? The Lord showed you there that he actually healed Malchus, all right? Even though it was an enemy unto him. But he didn't pick him up when he pushed him on the ground, to show you that there was the power that was really, even in the power of the sword that Peter had, again, it showed the power of the Spirit, okay? Because what did he do to Malchus? He healed him, showing you that their power, again, was spiritual power, all right? And the power, when it was both sides of the coin, all right? It was basically to kill and to heal. Whereas evil and carnality is just the power of, is death, okay? Because remember, the Lord said that in the book of Genesis, said like that my ways shall not always go with man, because always strive with man, because he is also flesh, okay? Because man is also flesh. So basically what we're saying is the spirit, the flesh had, and that was right before he said that the life of man will go down to 120. That was the first establishment of the cutting off of man's lifespan, all right? And why did he say that right after that? Because showing you that the flesh had more power over man than the spirit, okay? To retain a righteous way, all right? And that's why the Lord said, watch and pray, for the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, all right? So by watching and praying, being in the, if you're watching how? By measuring the time diligently, going through the prophecies. And if you're praying, which requires you to go into the Holy Bible, the word which quickeneth. And if you're praying, you need to be praying in the name of the Lord, which means you're going into the strong tower, which ultimately is in the names, which is the word of the Holy Bible, is the spirit that quickeneth. So for you to be in the spirit, you have to be in the word, and that requires you to be, not to be carnal, basically. All right. So now I want to finish up on this. This is Romans. I'm gonna read from verse 1 down to 4. And it reads, all right, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of Yahweh, as it tells you in the book of Samuel, man. Right. The Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, man. He setteth up one and putteth down another. That's the Most High that does that. All right. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of Yahweh. So if you're resisting the rulers of this world, if you're trying to actually go against them and take them down, that means you're resisting the Heavenly Father's will. All right. And we're all in line with the Heavenly Father's will, because we know, as it tells you in 2 Ezra 6 and 7, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. We ain't got to do nothing but sit back and work our work of speaking the words of the Heavenly Father, as it tells you in Jeremiah 28 and 2. All right. The prophets of old prophesied both against many kingdoms of evil and pestilence, man. So this is something that's always been done. And then what happened to those kingdoms? They fell. All right. That's all we got to do. Wait for the Heavenly Father to set up his kingdom. All right. And it says, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. All right. That's by taking up the sword, like Grandmaster J. You're resisting the will of the Heavenly Father, man. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. All right. And that's why Peter, after he cut off the ear of the Heavenly Father of Malchus, he was healed, man. Malchus wasn't armed. All right. But it's funny because Peter received the greater humbling after that. All right. Anyway, reading on. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. So even if we do the right thing, then, you know, within the confines of this kingdom, we ain't gonna be, no one's gonna terrorize us. All right. At least it be written in the word to our lot. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of Yahweh to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, all right? Because that's his power, okay? That's why Grandmaster Jay taking up and bearing the arms. Hasn't he read Psalm 17, all right? Where King David, I believe, was asking for protection from the wicked because he understood that it was a sword of the Heavenly Father, all right? So we ain't, you trying to fight the left hand with the left hand's main tool is futile, man, because that ain't what's gonna defeat it. He has that power over you, man. But if thou do which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. All right, fighting against the Heavenly Father's ordained plans, you're doing the wrong thing. All right, avenge, and it says a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. All right, so with that, the main points to take away, man, we're walking in the spirit. All right, if we're walking in the spirit, that means we're walking in the word. The word told us to take on a read what our war, what our for our walk, what form of weaponry we've been armed with to defend ourselves. In the book of Ephesians 6th chapter, from verse 10 on down, it outlines it clearly. None of them it only refers to weapons and shield and armor as metaphors for faith, okay, truth, okay, the word as our form of weaponry and defense. So we don't have all our weaponry and defenses of the spirit. We don't have no physical. We ain't out here buying up guns or nothing like that, right? Because that ain't our power. So with that, man, I pray you're edified. Shalom.